Wow, what a great treat. As you were coming in, you've been listening to the talented music students from Slidell High School under the direction of Mr. John Gerbeau. So what a great treat. But of course, it doesn't stop with that. We have more entertainment for you tonight. Good evening. My name is Rosalind Hanson. I'm the Supervisor of Fine Arts, and it is my honor to welcome you tonight to our annual holiday celebration. We've got some great performances for you tonight, and I think you're really going to enjoy the solos that we have and enjoy some of the new type of music that we have, as well as some of our traditional Christmas songs. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize our board members. Please hold your applause. Board President, Ms. Beth Heinz. Board Vice President, Mr. Michael Nation. Mr. Matthew Green. Mr. Michael Derman. Mr. Jack Luke. Mr. Brandon Harrell. Ms. Shelter Richardson. Mr. Michael Winkler. Mr. Ron Betancourt. Ms. Tammy Lamy, and Mr. Richard Hersey Jr., and a couple more, the next page, Mr. James Bro, Mr. Dennis Kuzan, and Ms. Lisa Page. I'd also like to welcome, please help me welcome, our superintendent, Mr. Trey Fols, Associate Superintendent, Mr. Peter Javia, Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Amy Lemaine, and Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Mike Kosay. Again, thank you for joining us in celebrating the joy and peace of the holidays. For your entertainment this evening, adding to the magic of the season, we have the very talented choir from Slidell High School performing. They are under the direction of vocal music teacher, Ms. Melanie St. Cyr. Never too much applause. And of course, also joining them is, in the final song, you'll hear again, the talented music students under the direction of Mr. John Gerbeau. So you didn't come here to listen to me. Let's turn it over for the evening.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you so much for having us. We're going to start off tonight's concert the way Slidell High always does, with the Wassail Song.
Here we come a-wassailing among the leaves so green. Here we come a-wandering so fair to be seen. Love and joy come to you, your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. We are not daily beggars that beg from door to door, but we are lords and ladies come from a distant shore. Love and joy come to you, your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. Bring us out a table and spread it with a cloth. Bring us out a fine cheese and some of your Christmas loaf. Love and joy come to you, your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. God bless the master of this house, likewise the mistress too, and all the other guests tonight that round the table go. Love and joy come to you, your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year.
Next up, we're going to have our small ensemble come and join you guys right in front of you there. They're going to do 3 selections. The first one is a song I think you'll all recognize called Last Christmas, featuring 2 soloists, senior Chloe Dufresne and senior Scarlett Lemoyne. Thank you so much. Their next song is called That's Christmas to Me, made popular by the Pentatonics, who are really popular this time of year. And we have a few soloists here, all seniors: Zoe Klein, Billy Barber, Scarlett Lemoyne, and Skylar Baker.
Fireplace is burning bright, shining all on me. I see the presents underneath the good old Christmas tree. And I wait all night till Santa comes to wake me from my dreams. Oh, why? 'Cause that's Christmas to me. I see the children play outside like angels in the snow. Mom and Daddy share a kiss under the mistletoe. And we'll cherish all these simple things wherever we may be. Oh, why? 'Cause that's Christmas to me. I've got this Christmas song in my heart. I've got the candles glowing in the dark. I'm hanging all the stockings by the Christmas tree. Oh, why? 'Cause that's Christmas to me. Oh, why? 'Cause that's Christmas to me. I listen for the thud of reindeer walking on the roof. As I fall asleep to lullabies, the morning's coming soon. The only gift I'll ever need is the joy of family. Oh, why? 'Cause that's Christmas to me. I've got this Christmas song in my heart. I've got the candles glowing in the dark. I'm hanging all the stockings by the Christmas tree. Oh, why? 'Cause that's Christmas to me. Oh, why? 'Cause that's Christmas to me. Oh, the joy that fills our hearts and makes us sing. That's the love that Christmas can bring. I've got this Christmas song in my heart. I've got the candles glowing in the dark. And then for years to come, we'll always know one thing. That's the love that Christmas can bring. Oh, why? 'Cause that's Christmas to me.
Thank you. They have one more for you. They're going to go grab their props for this one. I like to say this one features teenagers in their natural habitat, and that will make sense very shortly. We are also featuring senior Skylar Baker. This song is called Text Me Merry Christmas.
How are you?
Okay.
I miss you.
Miss you too.
Christmas stinks without you.
I know, right?
Love you.
Love you too.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Facebook Message isn't quite as sweet. I need more to match you than just a tweet. A snap on Snapchat doesn't last, and voicemail lasts from Christmas past. Text me Merry Christmas. Send a selfie too. If you do, I'll go neath the mistletoe and pretend my screen is you. Show me that you love me. Text XO to kiss and hug me. I'll be right here waiting for my phone to start vibrating. Baby, text me Merry Christmas, and I will text you too this Christmas. It's the least that we can do.
Thank you. And now they're going to go put those phones away. Right. We're going to switch back to our large group here, give them a couple of seconds to get back up here. Our next song is called Once Upon a December from the movie Anastasia that was recently made into a Broadway musical. On this piece, we have a student accompanist. We have a junior named Gabe Lebreton who has been taking choir this semester to learn to be an accompanist, and he's done a fantastic job. He's playing this one and our next song. So this is Once Upon a December. Thank you. Our next song is a Christmas classic, Winter Wonderland.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird, here to stay is the new bird. He sings a love song as we go along, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman, then pretend that he is nice and brown.
He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man.
But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on we'll conspire as we dream by the fire, to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. We're gonna build a snowman, pretend that he's a clown. We're gonna build a snowman, but don't knock him down, don't knock him down. You better not, don't knock him down. When it snows, ain't it thrilling? Though your nose gets a chillin', we'll frolic and play the Eskimo way, walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland. 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 Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening.
Thank you so much. Our next song, if you give me a second, has a really sweet story. The composer of our next song is a really good friend of mine from college. And when I had Emma St. Cyr, who is my freshman now, for her first Christmas, he sent me a package, and it was this song. He composed this for her first Christmas. And now it's neat that I get to conduct her singing it as her first Christmas as my student. So this is called Come Thou Long Expected Jesus.
Come thou long expected Jesus, born to set thy people free.
Thank you. We've got one more song for you. We're going to end like we do always at Slidell High School with the Hallelujah Chorus featuring our brass ensemble.
Thank you. Yet another reason for our superintendent to be so proud of his alma mater, Slidell High School. Thank you once again, students. Thank you, Ms. St. Cyr. Thank you very much to our talented music students, our brass over there, as well as their teacher, Mr. Gerbeau. Thank you, Gerdeau, sorry. The Thank you, everyone, for a wonderful performance tonight. It's a very wonderful performance. You've given us some traditional songs like Hallelujah and Winter Wonderland, a very personal performance. We thank you for that. And now all the boomers can also be very proud that we're up to speed and we know the latest song, Text Me Merry Christmas. LOL. Thank you again. At this time, that concludes the entertainment for December. We ask that you join us for some snowman cookies, and we will continue to listen to some of the music by Mr. Gerdeau and his students. Why that's so difficult for me. Thank you.
Good evening. I'd like to call our meeting to order, please. Ms. Coakley, could you call the roll for us?
Mrs. Heinz?
Here.
Mr. Green? Mr. Derman? Mr. Loop? Mr. Harrell? Mr. Nation? Mrs. Richardson? Mr. Winkler? Mrs. Drucker?
Here.
Mr. Bentoncourt? Mrs. Lamy? Mr. Hersey? Mr. Bro? Mr. Kuzan? Mrs. Page?
Thank you very much. Would everyone please rise for the invocation and pledge, which will be led by Mr. Nation.
Let us pray. Almighty and eternal God, so draw our hearts to you, so guide our minds, so fill our imaginations, that we may be wholly yours, utterly dedicated to you. And then use us, we pray, as you will, and always to your glory and the welfare of your people, most especially the parents, the children, and the educators of this parish. This prayer is offered in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Nation. I'd like to welcome you all to our last school board meeting for the year 2019. I hope you all enjoyed getting in the holiday spirit before the meeting with the performance by Slidell High School. It was just an excellent performance, and I look forward to it every year. Does anyone have visitors they'd like to recognize? Mr. Nation?
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to recognize my wife of 25 years, Cheryl, who is almost for that length of time has been a public education teacher, teaching special ed, and she is currently teaching special ed at Magnolia Trace. And then I'd like to also welcome my daughter of 23 years, Anna Grace, who is a graduate of Mandeville High School and is currently working with J. Roy Pest Control here in Covington. So anyway, welcome Anna Grace and Cheryl.
Welcome. Mr. Bro.
Yes, I would also like to recognize my wife here, who is celebrating her birthday tonight, and is coming here with me for this meeting instead of me taking her out to dinner. And then one more thing I want to say is with this Army-Navy game coming up, go Navy, beat Army.
Thank you, Mr. Bro. Anyone else? All right. Ms. Coakley, did you have a sign-up sheet? Was there anyone on the sign-up sheet? All right. There's no one who signed up for 5 or 3 minutes, so we'll move on to our first agenda item, which is approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held on November 14, 2019. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes? All right, I have a motion by Ms. Page and a second by Mr. Kuzan to accept those minutes. Do we have any comments from board members? Do we have any comments from the public? Would everyone please vote on the November 14th minutes?
Yeas.
15 yeas, those minutes passed. Our next item is approval of the minutes from the special meeting held on November 19th, 2019. Do I have a motion to accept those? I have a motion by Mr. Harrell and a second by Mr. Derman. Do we have any comments from board members? Any comments from the public? If not, would everyone please vote on our November 19th special board meeting minutes?
yeas.
15 yeas, motion carries. Our next item is approval of the minutes from the special board meeting held on November 21st, 2019. Can I have a motion, please, to accept those minutes? Motion by Ms. Lamy and a second by Ms. Page. Do we have any comments from board members? Any comments from the public? If not, would everyone please vote on the November 21st special board meeting minutes?
14 yeas, 1 abstention.
14 yeas, 1 abstention. The motion carries. Our next item is to consider and take action with respect to adopting a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of taxable general obligation school refunding bonds, Series 2020 of St. Tammany Parish-wide School District Number 12, the Parish of St. Tammany, State of Louisiana, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Mr. Schluter is here tonight, and I'm going to ask him to come to the podium to explain exactly what this is.
Grant Schluter with Foley Udell, Bond Counsel, Stephanie Ferry with Raymond James, who handled the sale of the bonds. You had previously approved the refinancing of the 2011 A bonds. This is your 11th refinancing in the last 15 years, so you've been very, very active in refinancing these bonds and saving monies to the taxpayers. As you recall, on the refinancing of general obligation bonds under Louisiana law, all of the savings accrue to the benefit of the property taxpayers of the parish. Pursuant to your authorization, the bonds were priced and marketed by the underwriter. And given the fact that the savings exceeded the State Bond Commission requirements, the superintendent was authorized to sign the bond purchase agreement, which he did this week. And the savings are more than twice the level required by the State Bond Commission. And the purpose of this resolution today is to adopt the bond resolution setting forth the details of the sale. The principal amount is $5,620,000. Before we get into the actual savings level, would like to mention that you maintained your excellent Standard & Poor's AA rating, stable outlook. The administration spent some time, and we did also, with Standard & Poor's, working on maintaining that rating. And actually, given the financial situation of the school board, it was fairly easy. The rating agency Standard & Poor's mentioned again the very strong fund balance, the fine finances, and the trend of financings for this school board. Also mentioned the very low overall debt burden to the taxpayers in this parish. And added a paragraph which I found very interesting. It's the first time I've seen this in a credit report for a public body. And if you don't mind, I'll just read it to you. S&P Global Ratings continues to further integrate evaluation of environmental, social, and governance ESG factors into local government credit ratings. Louisiana school districts in coastal locations are more susceptible to environmental impacts from weather-related events such as hurricanes, tropical storms, and flooding. While we understand that in most cases financial effects are temporary, we continue to monitor and evaluate how local governments are planning for potential severe weather events. Then they note, we note that the district maintains strong financial performance and a very strong financial position in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina in 2005, despite tax base damage and temporary enrollment displacement. So that's the first time I've seen a recognition of that type. Very, very impressive. And a lot of us were there and we noted exactly what that meant and how this school board was able to react to that disaster. Savings. Net savings of $227,352 to the taxpayers from this refinancing. The outstanding bonds had interest rates 4 to 4.125%. The true interest cost on the refinancing is 2.64%, so a significant reduction in the interest rate. Also, we updated the refunding history for this school board, and after each refunding, we give you the new total of taxpayer savings. For the 11 refinancings undertaken in the last 15 years, taxpayer savings are $12,293,705. Excellent result. And if there are any questions, we'll be happy to answer them.
Well, that was a great report. We appreciate that. Let's have a motion, and then we'll have questions. So, Mr. Derman, would you like to make that motion? And second by Mr. Nation. Questions for Mr. Schluter or Ms. Ferry? Any questions? All right. Mr. Derman.
Grant, as some of the other issuance that we've had whenever the bonds are actually, I mean, do we have to have a sale and it be a midday sale again like we have in the past?
On the new money issues, yes. On the refunding issues, we generally do negotiated transactions so we can time the actual sale and have an execution by the superintendent at such time as we attain the necessary savings. It's very difficult to wait for a school board meeting in the case of refundings, and it may be difficult to schedule it for a specific day far in advance. New money issues like the last issue that you did and the future issues you're going to be doing that were authorized at the last election, I would anticipate at this point that you would continue your trend of doing competitive sales. And when we do a competitive sale and set a sale date, we need to have that during the day so that we can confirm the orders, and we just don't have any nighttime meetings anymore for that purpose.
Right, and I was just curious because with the holidays and the time that it would take, you know, if we were gonna have to vote on that, so I was just curious. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Any other questions, Mr. Brough?
Grant, when we refinance these, do we extend the terms as well?
Never.
So,
Never.
so it's just, if it was a 30-year when it passed or when we first sold them in 2011, it's still gonna pay off at the same time period. But at a
Exactly.
much lower interest rate.
What we're looking to do on each and every refinancing of general obligation bonds without any variation is we never extend the term of the bond issue, and we always provide for savings each year for the remainder of the life of the bond issue.
So 2011 would be still 41, or whatever, 2041, for 30 year.
Yeah, this one goes out to April 1 of 2031,
Okay,
which is the final maturity of the,
so it was a 20 year?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you all so much.
Not. All right, we appreciate y'all being here, Ms. Ferry and Mr. Schluter, to answer our questions and make the presentation for us.
well, thank you. And we do appreciate it. I mean, I've mentioned this to you before, but the very strong financial position that you maintain and you do it consistently, year after year after year, it's actually a pleasure to take it to Standard & Poor's. And quite honestly, our conferences with them are getting shorter and shorter each year. So it's wonderful. Thank you.
Well, that's great news. Do we have any questions from members of the public? All right, if not, I think we're ready to vote on the refinancing of the taxable general obligation school refunding bonds. 15 yeas, motion carries. Thank you very much for being here this evening. All right, our next item is appropriate retirement resolutions for the following certificated personnel subsequent to November 14th, 2019. Mr. Jabbia.
Thank you, Ms. Heinz. Good evening, board members. Judy O. Adams, Abita Springs Elementary, 28.50 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Melissa Z. Adams, Clearwood Junior High, 19.38 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Susan A. Furlan, Fountain High, 39.57 years, 13.50 years in St. Tammany Parish. Janine H. Barnes, Lyon Elementary, 34.50 years, 32.50 years in St. Tammany Parish. Shannon L. Arnold, Magnolia Trace Elementary, 29.98 years, 28.98 years in St. Tammany Parish. Martha Atchison, Mandeville High, 32.80 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Edward C. Larson, North Shore High, 12 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Eddie J. Walker, Pitcher Junior High, 33.36 years, 29.36 years in St. Tammany Parish. Connie M. Gowan, St. Tammany Junior High, 21.56 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. And Mary T. Boudreaux, Chafuncta Middle, 29.42 years, all in St. Tammany Parish.
Thank you, Mr. Jabbia. Do I have a motion to accept those? The motion by Ms. Slamey and a second by Mr. Brough. All right. Do we have any comments from board members? Any comments from the public? Would everyone please vote on the retirement resolutions for the certificated personnel? Fifteen yeas. I hope they all very much enjoy their retirement. I know a lot of these people, and retirement's well-deserved. Yes. Sure.
It's reference to retirement. One of our teachers who taught at Bonnie Cove for over 30 years retired, I think, last month. And I think her first check was printed on December the 2nd. She passed away on, I don't think, Thanksgiving Day. And I'd just like for you all to keep the family in her prayers. She'll be funeralized tomorrow. Her name is Cassandra Baptiste. So keep the family in your prayers. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Kuzan. We're sorry to hear that sad news. All right, our next item is appropriate retirement resolutions for the following non-certificated personnel subsequent to November 14th, 2019. Mr. Jabbia.
Thank you, Ms. Heinz. Doroxlin R. Ducree, Alton Elementary, 27.96 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Janice H. Myers, Folsom Elementary, 13.50 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Sheila J. McCarron, Fountain High, 25 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Wanda T. Lee, Harrison Curriculum Center, 28.46 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Daniel B. Key, Information Technology, 17.08 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Glenda H. King, Lee Road Junior High, 29.32 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Julie B. Hammers, Pineview Middle, 14.99 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Shirley M. Sanger, Salmon High, 24.01 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Floria S. Fashon, Slidell High, 18.98 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Arnold K. Crawford Jr. Transportation Center, 12.43 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Ernest R. Jones Transportation Center, 30.63 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Arnold Ray Stampley Sr. Transportation Center, 9.18 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Beverly C. Laurent, Woodlake Elementary, 10.65 years, all in St. Tammany Parish.
Do I have a motion to accept these retirement resolutions? A motion by Mr. Winkler and a second by Mr. Green. Do we have any comments from board members? Any comments from the public? Would everyone please vote on the retirement resolutions for our non-certificated personnel? 15 yeas, motion carries, and I hope they have a happy and healthy retirement. Thank you, Mr. Jabbia. Our next item is certification of board members Matthew E. Green, Michael J. Derman, Brandon Harrell, Michael C. Nation, Shelta J. Richardson, Michael E. Winkler, Sharon L. Drucker, Ronald Betancourt, Tammy Lamy, Richard Hersey, James Bro, Dennis S. Kuzan, and Lisa M. Page in completion of 1 hour of training for 2019 presented on December 5th, 2019 as mandated by Louisiana Revised Statute 17:53. Mr. Foles.
Thank you, Ms. Hines. I do indeed certify that the above-named board members did complete training.
Thank you very much. Our next item is recommendations from the Committee as a Whole meeting for Business Affairs Administrative held on December 5th, 2019, and I'll call on Mr. Derman for that report.
Thank you, Ms. Hines. Yes, ma'am, we did meet on December the 5th, 2019, and we have just one recommendation, and that is recommends the authorization of Superintendent Foles and/or Board President Hines to purchase lot number 12-B, Galata subdivision situated in Section 14, Township 7 South, Range 10 East, Greensburg Land District, St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana, being 1.33 acres located on Galatas Road in Madisonville, Louisiana.
Thank you. I have a motion by Ms. Drucker to accept that recommendation on the land purchase. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Bro. Do we have any comments from board members? Do we have any comments from the public? Would everyone please vote on the recommendation to purchase the land in Madisonville?
Yes.
15 yeas. Motion passes.
And that completes our report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Derman. All right, our next item on the agenda is election of board officers for a one-year term effective January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020. And I'll be conducting that election. So our first one is election of president. And at this time, I would like to open the floor for nominations for board president. Mr. Derman?
Yes, ma'am, I would like to nominate Michael Nation for board president.
All right. Additional nominations? All right, is there well, Mr. Kuzan, would you like a motion to make the motion to close the nominations for board president?
I certainly would.
All right, we have a motion to close the nominations for board president. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Harrell. All right. All those in favor of closing the nominations, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? So ordered. All right. At this time, we are going to take a vote. So all those in favor of Mr. Nation serving as our president for next year, 2020, please raise your hand. Mr. Jabbia is going to be doing the count, so.
That was easy.
All right. Congratulations, Mr. Nation. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Mrs. Hines. To say I'm humbled is an understatement. You know, when I ran 5 years ago for my first term, you know, and folks asked me, why are you running for the school board? I said, well, I'm a happy dad. And I was very happy, and my wife and I were very happy with this school system. And so now that happiness that I had, you know, 5 years ago to run and to support this great school system has even deepened, and I would even say into a love and a passion for this school system. You know, I've said many times from up here, yes, we do have the greatest school system in Louisiana, but I believe we also have one of the greatest school systems in the country. And to be honored by you all to lead this next year, to lead the board and to support Trey and this great team is beyond words almost for me. And it's all about stewardship, isn't it? We are stewards of a great gift. One is our children, and I mean, and then also our educators, and to support both of them, both of these groups of folks, is indeed a great honor, and I thank you much. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nation. Congratulations. All right, at this time, we'll have election of vice president. So I'd like to open the floor for nominations for board vice president. Does anyone have a nomination? Mr. Loop?
I'd like to nominate Brandon Harrell, please.
All right, we have a nomination for Brandon Harrell. Second's not required, Ms. Page, but thank you. Do we have any other nominations? All right, I have a motion by Ms. Drucker to close the nominations. Do I have a second for that, Ms. Page? Would you like to make the second? All right, that's fine. All those in favor of closing the nominations, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? So ordered. All right, all those in favor of Mr. Harrell serving as our vice president next year, please raise your hand.
15-0.
All right, we have 15 in the affirmative. Congratulations, Mr. Harrell. Would you like to say something?
I just want to thank everybody for their support. I look forward to working hard next year and representing y'all well and assisting Mr. Nation in his duties and Mr. Foles. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harrell. Congratulations. All right, we'll now have elections for chairs for the committee as a whole. These are for one-year terms beginning January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020. The first committee is Human Resources and Education Committee. So at this time, I'd like to open the floor for nominations for the chair for Human Resources and Education Committee as a whole. Mr. Hersey?
I'd like to nominate Mrs. Lisa Page, please.
All right, we have a nomination from Ms. Page. Do we have any further nominations? This is for the business committee. No, this is for Human Resources and Education.
I'll make a motion to close.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Hersey to close the nominations and a second by Mr. Breaux. All those in favor of closing the nominations, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? So ordered. Would everyone who is voting for Ms. Page to be our Human Resources and Education Chairperson, please raise their hand.
15-0.
All right, 15. Congratulations, Ms. Page. Would you like to make a comment?
Thank you. I've just had a really great year. I really love being on the school board, and I really enjoy working with Amy Lemaine and Pete Jabbia, and I am confident that I will do a good job next year, and I just want to thank you all so much for voting me into this position.
Thank you. All right, now at this time, I'd like to open the floor for nominations for chair for the Business Affairs and Administrative Committee as a whole. So the floor is now open. Mr. Harrell?
I'd like to nominate Matt Green.
All right, we have a nomination for Mr. Green. Do we have any other nominations? I have a motion by Ms. Drucker to close the nominations. Do you have a second? A second by Mr. Breaux. All those in favor of closing the nominations, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? So ordered. All right, all those in favor of Mr. Green serving as our Business Affairs Administrative Committee Chairperson for next year, please raise your hand.
15-0.
15. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Mr. Green. Would you like to make some comments?
I'll be very brief. Thank you, Ms. Hines. It's been an honor to serve on this board for the past year. I think being the chair of the Business and Affairs and Administrative Committee fits my background pretty well. When I hear bond refunds and lower interest rates, it's music to my ears. And so I'm very proud to serve in this capacity, and I look forward to a very strong 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Appreciate it. And just before we close and make announcements, I'd like to say that I've thoroughly enjoyed serving as board president this year, and I thank you all so much. It was a transition year, but it's been a good year, and I really appreciate all of your support and help this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Heinz. I want to tell the new officers from president on down, if y'all do half the job that Mrs. Heinz and the other board members, officers have done, you'll be quite successful.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you personally for having patience with us and the new people, me, and guiding us and just really working with us. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Mr. Derman.
Yeah, I got about a 35-minute speech here to read off. But all seriousness, Ms. Heinz, the job that you did this particular year was unbelievable for this board and this school system, and you deserve many, many accolades for the efforts that you put forth. Not everybody understands what it takes to be the board president, but you did an outstanding job, and want to congratulate you and commend you for doing that. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, one other bit of advice I got for the newbies on the block. Mr. John Lamarck, who just recently passed away, was a longtime board member, and he gave some great words of wisdom to all of us whenever he did leave the board. And it was, you may want to write this down. Don't screw it up. So that's my advice to y'all. Good luck. Have fun.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Oh, yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right. And Mr. Fultz and staff, thank you all so much for your help this year. It was tremendous, and I really appreciate that so much. Each and every one of you. Heartfelt. All right, let's close our meeting with these announcements. We would like to thank the very talented choir and instrumentalists from Slidell High School who performed holiday music for us in the atrium before the board meeting. They were under the direction of vocal music teacher Miss Melanie St. Cyr and talented music teacher Mr. John Giroux. They did an outstanding job. The schools will be closed a half a day on December 20th, 2019 through January 3rd, 2020. For the winter Christmas break, the offices will be closed December 23rd through January 1st. The next committee as a whole meeting will be held on Thursday, January 9th at 6 p.m. And I'd just like to say that I hope that all of you experience peace, joy, and love through the holiday season with your families. Have a great holiday season. Thank you so much.